Welcome to Real Football Talk Tactic Zone, and we will be looking and dissecting the Manchester City versus Southampton game. I really wanted to straight away jump into the weird and fascinating way Southampton lined up with this very attacking formation, really.
Yeah, and definitely unique formation. So they effectively were playing 2-4-3-1. And as you can see, when I was looking at it, I thought it was 4-2-3-1. But they actually played it as wing backs and they left just two at the back, which, as an idea, I understood it. And it was working for the first 13 minutes. Southampton completely dominated the game. They had a few chances, but the main thing was City could not win the ball back with the high press. They're trying, and Southampton was quite easily actually passing around them and creating promising situations, which they obviously didn't capitalize from. So basically, what they did was that they played two at the back, and I think it's an interesting way to deal with the false nine, because obviously he's not playing like he's not a striker and he's not playing like a striker. So why have why do you need two more fullbacks to get it protecting you? So as an idea, I thought it was really brave, really good, and it worked for lots of the game. Problem was the first time Man City attacked, they scored and they did make a slight adjustment. But with such a high-risk strategy, you can't, it's so risky that you can't make mistakes. And that was the problem. The individual errors were still there for Southampton. So what they're doing, they went to two at the back and they're playing quite deep. So they weren't pushing up too high. They weren't pushing up too high like they normally do. They stayed quite deep. So even when everyone else pressed and went up high, they didn't go all the way up to the halfway line, the Bednarek or Vestergaard. And that's because they never really felt there was a threat in behind at any point, because Bernardo was moving in a lot. So what would happen was Bertrand was playing as a wing back, Salisu was playing at a wing back. And whenever City went to press, so whenever they went to press, they'd press like this. There was always options to pass around, because what happened is even when Bertrand was showing here, Armstrong went wide.
There's always an escape route, it seems like.
Yes.
Because of the formation, the players are always...
Quite a few times Adams would come out here, so then they'd play the ball back and Bernard would go straight there or straight into Armstrong, depending on... So what the formation actually did was it forced Laporte out. It forced Laporte to defend, and Adams was quite a few times attacking this zone, attacking the... so you can tell they're trying to... The way Southampton decide they're going to attack is they're trying to expose the gap between Zinchenko and Laporte. So what happens, Diaz was literally the only player free, but it meant everyone else had to completely commit, and that's why they were able to beat the man, because Laporte wasn't always comfortable to go that aggressively into the game. Or even when Adams would drop in and Zinchenko's in his normal space looking to pressing, Armstrong would go. That's forcing Laporte out into areas he didn't want to go. So on the ball, the tactic was very good and successful in retaining possession and keeping possession and taking that control away from Man City. And that was the thing. The problem was when it goes out to Armstrong, he hasn't got the quality, because he's dribbling in. He's always dribbling. And a lot of the time he's coming in. So there's quite a few balls where
he hasn't got the speed either to kind of really threaten them.
I mean, there were times when, because the setup was actually narrow, there was times when Bertrand was the widest player, and because they actually did play like a proper wing-back system. So what happened was they played the ball over the top. So Zinchenko's looking for, they switched the play in behind, and Bertrand is the one running. Now he's left-footed, so you're getting out there, and he can't do really much with it. So as the idea to combat the pressing of City worked, and quite a few times they worked it out all the way to Salisu, and he just couldn't cross the ball in. Couldn't even put a meaningful crosses. So quite a few times they pinned City back, and then it goes all the way across to Salisu, and he's a centre back at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, then why not play Bertrand on his right place in the left back and play Djenepo on the right?
Because Djenepo is a defender. So I think the whole system would have failed, because you do not want to leave Djenepo with Foden. I mean, Bertrand was having a tough time with Foden.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine what the scoreline would have been if it was Djenepo. And I think obviously they have defensive injuries, and right back has been their biggest problem this season so far. Right back has been causing them problems
because of the injuries. What did City change to kind of combat that? What did they kind of?
So yeah, I mean, they struggled to combat it, and then you can see Pep shouting. And what they basically did was, how they changed the whole game was they made Foden, so they come in, and they made Mahrez come in. So they effectively now are splitting the two centre backs, and now asking the two centre backs, because it's a 2v2. They're asking the wing backs, are you gonna go narrow, or are you gonna stick and let's have this gap? So what happened was, made them forced their hand, and they became narrow, and they pushed Zinchenko up and Walker further up the pitch. So now what they've done is they've made it basically 5-on-4. But quite a few times what was happening, instead of Walker going up,
De Bruyne.
It was De Bruyne out on the wide. So it's really clever what they did. And then for the goal, obviously the ball goes to Diaz. Diaz pings it into Zinchenko. Now, and this is the problem, is you've got guys free against City off the ball. Every player has to have something to do. You're just not going to get away with this situation. Now, they had Armstrong coasting here, doing nothing off the ball, and he's quite wide. So he wasn't in that position where he's even occupying Gundogan or Fernandinho. He's quite wide. So then what happens is the ball goes, so the whole pitch has been squeezed. And it was actually the first time City had possession for more than a minute. They kept losing. And what happened? Diaz just pings the ball to Zinchenko, forces the hand out.
Yeah.
Foden comes in, takes a volley. And again, you have to question, why bring McCarthy back in? They lost a tight game with Foster 1-0. Then they won 2-0. With Foster in goal.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's the man who's won the shirt. Now you've gone back to a keeper who's been conceding goals. And what happens? That shot comes in, and it's a good save, but these are the difference. I mean, the difference is a better keeper.
Wide, yeah.
Wide. So what's happened here for this goal is this one, Mahrez is still there, and De Bruyne comes in, and because they created this situation, 3v2 in the central zone, 2 of the goals are rebounds, and they completely free. The first one is De Bruyne, and the second one,
I mean, surely the two
is Gundogan. I mean, third one. So the third goal was Gundogan scoring a rebound from the Mahrez shot hitting the post. But it's because now they've isolated the 2 centre backs by putting 3 men on them. So then the guy in the middle is always free.
I mean, Stefan being a defender, surely he could recognize those things and kind of drop in, maybe. Or
I think that
Ward-Prowse could drop in a bit deeper, maybe, because obviously they've seen that they've changed the way they're playing.
But I think they got real problems managing their squad, because Diallo came back from about a few weeks out last game, so he was rested for this one, And we saw what happened in a match recently with when Armstrong was in the middle. All he kept doing was dribbling like a winger. So I think Stevens definitely played the role better, and he kept the ball moving. He played it better in midfield than Armstrong did. So I think the problem, whole game changes because the first time City attack, they score. You know, and McCarthy doesn't do good, do himself. You know, you look at the second goal. You got Adam, that right back, playing a Hollywood pass. You're 1-1. You don't need to play Hollywood passes in your half. City weren't even really pressing him. Go back to the defender, play your football. He goes for Hollywood pass to Salisu, of all players. What is Salisu going to do with the Hollywood pass? Is he even going to be able to chest it down and run forward with that? And he goes straight to Mahrez and he curls it in. So I just think it worked. What Hassan tried in terms of keeping the possession. I don't know if you have the possession stats, but halftime is quite even. First, after 50 minutes of the game, Southampton had 72% possession. No one does that to City. City's famous for just straight away taking control of the game and pinning you back. So in terms of the idea of taking control of the game and being ultra attacking and causing City, it worked. And the other thing to say was what happened was Laporte moved across and Diaz, instead of being free, actually started to push up. So what they did, they went gun-ho as well, City. And this is the thing you have to say. This might not be a City team with loads of superstars and match winners on their own. But what this team is probably the most intelligent team Pep's had in terms of the City era. This team is so clever tactically that he can make changes after 30 minutes and they will adjust to it. And they literally were aggressive, man for man at the back too. And that's what allowed Zinchenko to push up, De Bruyne to push up, Mahrez to cut in a bit more, De Bruyne to go out wide more. So, you have to praise Pep's. He didn't get fearful after with the attacking approach of thinking. He backed his players and said, well, you know what, you want to go gun-ho, I'll go gun-ho, I'll go man for man, and let's see who's got the better players to make.
I mean, credit where it's due, really, with City and them going that brave. So I mean, they've got the result that they were looking for, really, because of that braveness.
Yeah, I mean, the shame it's just a shame that the first attack they did, they scored.
Yeah,
it was interesting up until that point, and yes, I mean, Southampton, it proved the system is still good because they got the goal back with the penalty, and they're creating chances with the corner that they won just before that penalty. So I wouldn't say blame Hassan. I liked what he did, and I thought, you know what, why not? Why shouldn't a team play two at the back against a false nine? Why not? It clearly does cause City problems. And if a better team did that, and the thing is very similar to what Manchester United did too. That was the biggest thing. Manchester United doesn't, but the difference was, and if I quickly go back, the difference is Man United weren't as naive, i.e. they had no problems getting everyone to tuck in on the halfway line and make it compact. They played a higher line probably, but they made it compact with a higher line, and they got everyone back, including Rashford. So everyone got behind the ball. So they still showed respect to City, but they played the same thing, as in they're going man for man. And when the ball was in with the fullbacks, they weren't afraid to push their fullbacks up to press. Different with Southampton done it in a gun-ho way the whole game. Man United for the first 2 minutes done it like that, and then they showed the respect.
Main thing is also in terms of there's a huge personal difference with regards to their quality, know-how, all those various things. Because when you do switch that ball to Rashford, he is someone who could bring that ball down and attack and make something of it. Whereas Southampton can't really do that. And like you said, he passed it to Salisu. If that same ball goes out to Luke Shaw, it's a different case. And we saw that with regards to the goal.
I was more in the sense that off the ball, they
Yeah.
continue to stay really aggressive. And again, the goal directly is because you've got players doing nothing off the ball. Against City, you cannot have 4 players doing nothing off the ball or 5 players doing nothing off the ball, which if a team like Man United with better quality players is giving them that respect and dropping everyone in and becoming compact, then Southampton should definitely do it. So I think in terms of the high press, very similar to United, but again, there's no change from that one mode. That they just always have one style of play, one game plan, and once the team figures it out, they just don't have the strength in the back line to ever hold tight and by time to do something different.
And it seems like a very tactically. Southampton came up against a very tactically astute City team who can adapt to situation, while Southampton can't, and you can see that in the scoreline and the difference really. So thank you, Adil, and see you soon.